Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Energize Your Online Business podcast. Hello, Jackie.
Hello, Nicki.
Hello. So, as you guys know, I'm usually joined by my co-host, Kate Sitars, but she is at this time of this recording moving from one location to another. But I also was really, really excited to have this interview with you, Jackie. So I wanted to make sure that we got this on the books and recorded so we could get it out to everyone. So with that, welcome to Jackie Ellis, who is an ads manager extraordinaire, the owner of the Jackie Ellis agency. Also, full transparency, Jackie's agency runs our ads for our brands. And so I guess I can tell you that I trust her implicitly and explicitly because I know that she's good at what she does. So Jackie, welcome.
That's like the best intro ever. Thank you, Nicki. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here. I'm first of all, when I was talking about ads, obviously you were the person I wanted to have come on because of your expertise. And I think ads are, just digging right into it, ads are something that I think a lot of people are afraid of. Either they're before they get started with it, or they're getting in there like, I want to put in $5 a day. What will that get me? I think there's a lot of trepidation when it comes from ads. And where do you think that comes from?
Oh, well, for sure. I think people have been burned by ads. So I definitely think, we have fear from things that experiences that we've had, right? And there's also a lot of other emotion, I think, that is involved in the ads process that we really try, when we run ads for our clients, that we really try to help remove, if possible, by getting the business owner out of seeing the daily ads, right? So many times when business owners run their own ads, they pop in there and they see, oh my gosh, my ad cost is, higher than normal or whatever. And maybe it's just one day, maybe it's just that hour, but, immediately it's too high. I shut it off. That's an emotional response, and that's not where we want the emotion. We want the person receiving the ad, seeing the ad, to feel an emotion. As the business owner or as the ads manager, we have to make our decisions based more on the data, right? What's the history that's happening here? What percentage of people are clicking? Are people taking action? The other thing that I try and remind people is the ad's job is really to get the click, right? We get their attention and we get the click. And then what happens after that, that's what really needs to be dialed in, right? It's actually pretty simple to run ads. It's getting the conversions, getting the people to opt in to something, getting people to the sales page, open the emails, that sort of thing. That's a little bit more complicated. But for sure, I think people have been burned by agencies. They've tried to do it themselves and been stressed and emotional and spent a lot of money trying, trial and error.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and you say it's simple to run ads, and I do agree, because there are steps to follow, right? It's simple, but it's not easy.
Correct.
And I think that's perhaps one of the ways that people have gotten burned is they've taken courses or they've read something that says, hey, it's easy to run your ads. Just put in these 2 type of ads and put in this amount, and yay, Facebook is going to generate tons and tons of money for you. And that's just not how it works.
No. In fact, this is probably getting way deeper than you wanted to get on this episode, but let's strip it down, man. When I was first learning how to run ads, I ran ads for a local business, a health club. And I was so stressed because I was the manager of the health club. I was responsible for getting new members in the door, new clients for, personal trainers and that sort of thing. And, I didn't know how to do that. Let's be honest. And excuse me. I thought, okay, Facebook ads are working for a lot of people. I see them, this was many, many years ago. So, Facebook ads, it wasn't like everyone was running them, obviously we weren't. So I would come home from work. I was working a 9 to 5. I would come home from work and then I would take care of my kids or whatever. Yeah, we'll just throw kids in there, like they weren't the most
Or
important
whatever.
thing or whatever. And then, so that would be hours of carpools, soccer, dinner, baths, all that kind of stuff. And then I would grab my laptop and pop into bed next to my husband and Google Facebook ads and YouTube Facebook ads. What a thrilled husband I had those days, right? But I was so stressed. I would stay up late, have to drink a pot of coffee in the morning just to like revive myself, and then go to work, sit down at my computer. Running a business, there's a lot of things that you have to do. But as soon as I popped into Ads Manager, I saw the cost or zero results for a lot of money. And then my whole day shifted into triaging that situation. And everything else had to go on the back burner, even though those things were probably more important, right? And so, yeah, I know what it's like to be emotional about it, to be fearful about it, and to be stressed for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think too, that especially newer business owners or someone who hasn't done ads yet, it seems like the best thing to do is to run ads ourselves, right? Is to well, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do it myself. And I will say, as someone who did run my ads for a lot of years before we started working together, that there is a lot of value in understanding ads and understanding what you're trying to do and understanding your numbers. But I think that there's also a lot of stress on business owners to become masters at something that is an actual full career on its own, right? Like it's like,
that's a good point.
You well know that people do this as a career. So then to take as a business owner, be like, okay, now if you want to be successful at this, you need to know as much as the best ads manager out there. So best of luck to you. And in order to do this well, you have to not freak out when you see cost per leads increase or your conversion numbers decrease. And that's just a lot to put on a business owner when there's already so much going on for us.
Oh, absolutely. That's such a good point. Yes, it is an entire separate career for people. I mean, we built an agency on this. I think you just need to know enough to be dangerous, right? In a good way, right? If you know just some basics about setting up ads, that's all you really need to know. And that can take you so far. I tell people in full transparency, don't hire an ads manager if you're spending less than $60 a day. Okay. That's $2,000 a month. Here's the thing. For an ads manager, you will probably pay more than $2,000 a month for someone to manage your ads. So does that make sense? For as much money as you're managing, you're paying as much in ads management fees. The other thing is going back to that $5 a day that you mentioned earlier, because we do get a lot of people asking because they're thinking it's, 2010 and we can get 50-cent leads or something like that, right? So $5 a day could go so far. That's just not the reality anymore. Okay. There are some unicorns out there, but that's for most people, it's not the reality, especially if you're B2B, just saying. So if you think, okay, $5 isn't realistic, I'm going to have to spend, let's say $20 a day per ad set just to get some results. If you get $5 leads, hope I'm not getting like too complicated with my mouth here, but $5 leads, $20 a day, I'm going to get 4 leads a day. Okay. Which might also still sound a little depressing because 4 leads a day times 30 days in the month, like you're barely getting over 100 leads, right? So consider that. But that's one ad set. That's essentially one thing that you have to set up, right? For $20 a day. You do not need to pay someone to do that for you. Yeah. You can, and if it tanks, you're $20 out. You know what I mean? And you let it run for 2 days, you're $40 out. Like it's not risky to run ads that way. And so I'll say, $60 a day or more is what I would recommend. And also we've got people running ads that don't even have anything to sell. Like don't run ads until you are selling something. I see your face right now, Nicki, is like, what the heck?
Why would they do that?
Because we love talking about bad advice, right? Yes. There are people out there saying, grow your list, grow your list, grow your list. Okay. And so people, and it's true. Facebook ads are one of the easiest and cheapest ways to grow your list for sure. But why would you want to put money in to grow your list if you're not going to be able to make anything back? You got to have something to sell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And then you end up with, you've grown this list, and then you have a list that's stale by the time you have something to actually offer them. They're not engaged anymore. They don't care. In fact, probably a lot of them have unsubscribed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah.
Know, isn't it sad?
It's so sad. It's so sad.
Sad.
There's just such bad advice. I'm just thinking back to the $5 a day, the 10, because I remember those days very, very well I read an article that said that I can run ads for $10 a day and I can have a successful business. No matter the fact that successful business was just a very amorphous, somehow $10 a day was the number, but the actual outcome, there was no number involved in that. But I absolutely was like, well, I just have to put in $10 without actually, and I think for me, that was a big part of how my business finally, one of the things that turned my business around, in addition to, of course, instituting the circuit sales system, but really learning the numbers. Like, okay, well, $10, well, how many people do I need to get to this page? And if I'm expecting 35% of people on this opt-in page to actually opt in. Okay. And if I'm expecting 2 to 4% of all the people who see my sales page to convert, what do I need this to be going into this? What backing all those numbers up? How many people, based on what my goals are, do I want to make a sale a week? Do I want to make, or whatever? How many people do I need to be actually seeing this ad? And I think that some people are a little afraid of numbers.
Oh yeah. Because they're complicated and nobody is talking about them. Everyone is talking such high level. You can be successful. What does successful mean? You can do this, you can do that. And it's like, okay, well, like, show me the proof, show me the money, show me the numbers. I'm a numbers person though. I think you are too. I've seen your spreadsheets before. So, we kind of geek out on that, but it's true. Don't play guessing games with your ads. You got to make decisions based on data, including budget,
Yeah.
Now, just side note here, you can run ads for $5 a day. It's going to be very slow growth. And it's probably, in my opinion, not worth it. But there are other ad strategies too that we use very low budgets on. But when we're talking about generating leads, no, like probably not going to be, it's not going to help you pick up the pace. And that's the whole point of Facebook ads, right? Yeah. Is to help you like accelerate a little bit faster. So.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, I absolutely was the person who's like, I'm going to run ads for $10 a day. And then I'm just going to kind of look at it a week later and see what happened. Like turn it on and close my eyes and then be like, oh, yes, it works. And then be like, oh, I spent $70 and got nothing.
Yeah. And then what do? That's where I was. It was like, okay, if it's not working, because I followed all the steps. If it's not working, what do I do? The only thing I knew how to do was go back to the beginning and start the steps over by writing a new ad, designing a new image, finding new targeting. And then like, I don't know, I use this example because I have teenagers, but like when they're in whatever the heck class, science, wherever you learn about oh gosh, what the heck is it?
The scientific method.
The scientific method. Yes, Nicki. Where you just are testing one variable, like why you don't test all of the things at once. And that's a big mistake too, right?
Yeah.
So how do you untangle that? You're like, well, I don't know. I changed all the audiences. I changed this. I changed that. I don't know what worked.
Well, and I think too, that's something I think a lot of people think that it's either have to be, I run it all on my own, or I have an ads agency take over everything. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. You can, I know that your agency offers some different types of options where you can get a little help setting it up, a little help figuring out what numbers you need to track. And then you can go at it on your own. And I think that that's such a valuable, getting that help to get started is where so many of us need that help.
Nicki, you set this up beautifully because that is actually exactly why we created a new offer in the business. So we used to have a DIY course, right? Teach you how to run your ads. We don't even sell that anymore. We just throw it in as bonus to people sometimes because people get overwhelmed with it, trying to DIY their ads. And then we have the agency, and that's really for higher level business, right? We're going to hand this off to Jackie's agency. And there was this huge group of people in the middle that are like, I want to be hands-on with my ads, but I don't know how. And if it doesn't work, I don't know where to go. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly the solution. Like, that's exactly the problem that we're trying to solve. And one of the things that my agency has become known for is our ad copy. So we have a team of professional copywriters, and we craft really high converting messages. Yeah. We do a lot of research, and we have a lot of fun with it. I will say we have a very, we have a style, let's just say. So it's not everyone, comes to us for copy, because we work with specific kind of business owners. But anyway, so when we created this program, we're like, we want to be able to provide high converting copy, high converting images to these clients, because that was one that people were like, I don't know what to say. And as a business owner, you're so close to what it is that you do and how you think about it. You are 10 steps ahead of your customer, if not more. And so the way they talk about their problem and the way you think about their problem are not always the same thing. And so it's easier for our team to come in and be like, yeah, you know what? We're just going to talk like them so that we attract them and kind of leave you out of it, Anyway, so that's how this whole like package, I guess, kind of got created, because we saw that huge gap. And then we obviously layered in some extra support so that it's like, when your ads, you set them up, you learn how to set them up. That's the simple part, right? Mm-hmm. Setting them up is simple. And then, but if they don't work, what do I do?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That is the problem, right? Because, and I think that so many people think it's just they either work or they don't. And it's not quite that simple.
No.
There might be some element, there are various parts of, and I'm holding a pen. There are some parts of, take notes. There are some parts of an ad that the ad as a whole may not be getting you the conversion conversion price that you want. But there's an image or a video. There's the long part of the copy. There is I don't even use the description, but there's the headline, there's the placements, there's all this different stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's not quite as simple as this ad isn't working. It's right. What element is not delivering on what we want? And isn't working. Does anyone get to you? Like, it's all, it's so much more nuanced than that. And I would love to talk a little bit more about testing, because I think that's that next step of, okay, how do we make these ads work? Or how do we develop ads that work, that meet our criteria?
This is one of my favorite things to talk about, because this is where I struggled the most. And so I had to figure out my own solution, because I could not find an expert that could explain it to me. Let's be honest. Most of the experts out there when I was learning were men, and not that there's anything wrong with men. I love men, but they almost wanted to just show off what they could do about ads. I felt like, the results that they were getting, but didn't have real concrete answers for me when I asked questions. I would be like, do you think this image will work better or this one? Do you think this will work or this? Should I use this button or this? And the answer would always be, oh no, test it. You never know until you test it. And I was like, but I don't know how to test it.
You could be a little bit more specific.
Yeah.
There.
Can you tell me how? So I started getting overwhelmed. The advice was test everything. And thinking back to the scientific method with my kids, what they were learning, right? I was like, okay, I need to keep this simple, because I'm a simple person. I'm a simple marketer. I'm going to test one thing at a time, and I'm not going to test everything. I'm going to figure out what the biggest needle movers are. And that's what I'm going to test. Okay. So what we do is we start with copy. So the words that you say in your ad are the thing that is going to get someone to take the action. Okay. It's not the image. And everyone's like, oh, but the image is the most important thing. That's not what gets someone to take an action. There could be words on it that get someone to take an action, but it's not just seeing something, right? Typically. So the image has to be interesting to stop someone's scroll for sure. Like when you are sitting and you see something orange run by, in your peripheral vision, like that catches your attention for sure, right? But it doesn't make you chase it, right? So your words have to be interesting. So we test copy first, and then we test creatives, and then we test the headline, because that is what we found is the headline is really your most valuable real estate in your ad, right? It's your value proposition. It is the thing that you don't see it in every version of the ad, but it is a very powerful statement. And when people are saying things like free training, womp womp, like everybody wants the thing that is going to solve their problem, or they want to know what's in it for them, right? So it really has to be value packed. And it's very tricky to write headlines because they have to be so short, especially in Facebook ads, right? So they have to be short and concise. But what we find is once we've tested copy, once we've tested creative, we have a pretty good ad cost. Sometimes we don't have to test headlines, but when we do, typically we will see a decrease in ad cost even further. Because now you've got it dialed in, the hook and the message and the call to action, and then you're just refining it with the right headline. And so then people ask me, well, what about audiences, right? What about targeting? Like targeting can't not be important. And yes, absolutely. Once you get this dialed in, you can test on different audiences. So that would be like the next level of testing. But I will say this, for a lot of businesses, I can't say this about all businesses, but for a lot, AI is really taking over Facebook targeting, right? What people don't realize is that with the iOS updates, like Facebook has actually lost the ability to kind of corral audiences the way that it used to. So what you don't realize is that your audience targeting is actually automatically expanded. So where there used to be, a radius around your specific audience, you could almost pinpoint your neighbor, like showing an ad to your neighbor.
I miss those days.
I know, but that's when targeting was really important, right? And you had to be spot on with your targeting. Now, in my opinion, because that audience that you've chosen is now expanded, you're going to get people on the outskirts of it. Your message is more important. Because if you can't speak to the right person in that a little bit more generalized audience, you're never going to get good results. So what I love about this is that Facebook is dialing up the algorithm so that it's getting smarter. The AI is getting smarter, right? That's great. If you get better at your messaging as well, you combine these two together and you've got unstoppable ads, right? And what I love is messaging is the foundation of marketing. So if you can nail this, it goes across your marketing. I mean, website, email, subject lines, like put it everywhere, billboards, right? It's a great way to test messaging too. Just side note,
Yes, exactly. And our circuit sales system students know that that's really jammed into them how important the messaging is. And we really make them dial into that messaging. But that's a great point, is that as you are really dialing in your messaging, if you are, building a circuit, as you're learning how to do that, then you can take elements of that and test and see how those elements perform as ads. Like on one of our other brands, in our freelance brand, I tested a couple of different elements from our light bulb video. And it was the one that did the best had messaging about how using Upwork is like being on the TV show The Bachelor. And of course I go into it, but it beat out all of the other ones. And I also did not expect that was going to be the one that would win, but you can't know until you test it. It's often, and I say this I mean, you and I have both been marketing professionals for a very long time. I've been a copywriter for over 20 years. And even when I write my copy, it's best foot forward, obviously, but you never know what is going to perform best. So you have to test a couple of different things. But then I also think that one of the values as well of working with an ads manager, again, whether it's done for you or done with you or done side by side, done at a coffee shop together with lattes, sign me up for that, is that is that you also don't have to be the expert of all of this. When it's like, oh, I saw somebody else doing carousels. Are carousels a thing I should be doing? Or I heard someone say that all videos are the thing. Or for me, there's a lot that we have to do as business owners. There's a lot that we have to be experts in. And it is so valuable to be able to have a resource and say, hey, do you think this is something we should be doing? Or are there strategies that we're not more often you guys coming to us and saying, hey, here's a strategy we're not doing yet. I would like to test on your brand. I don't even know where I'm going with this question, except that what resources do you look at to help keep you abreast of what's going on in the meta advertising space?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I am served a lot of ads. I don't know if this is the case for everyone or if it's just because my phone hears me talking about ads all the time. I don't know, but I feel like every other post that when I'm scrolling Instagram or something is an ad. So I actually get a lot of research from real life, like scrolling, I guess. I don't even scroll that much, but I do see a lot of ads. I screenshot them, I save them. The thing about that is you don't know if they're working, right? So sometimes these larger brands, like I will know someone who knows that business owner, and that's super helpful, right? A lot of our clients don't have access to that information. So that's helpful to work with an agency that does.
Yeah.
I do testing on my own brand. So I never roll like some brand new feature that Facebook just launched. I never roll that out to my clients until I've tried it myself. I think is really important. I think my clients are probably appreciative of that. And then we do test some things with clients though that want to try this strategy or that. I just want to point out though, when we talk about strategies, I'm not talking about this little toggle in Ads Manager.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about this little tiny feature or using this objective or something. That's not a strategy. Those are tactics, right? And those come and go, they work and they don't, the algorithm changes, that sort of thing. When we're talking strategy, we're taking like several steps back almost from the ads, right? Like who is the audience? How do we speak to them differently? What are we going to deliver to them? How do we get their attention? What kind of hook is going to be interesting to them? These are the strategies. So that's really what we're discussing more with our clients is coming up with those kind of strategies, not my team going, oh, I think I'm going to do this, this, and this in Ads Manager. That's not where the game changer results are.
I think that's such a great point because I think a lot of us maybe have been trained, or maybe it's just we all want a quick solution, right? Like, what is the secret little button that I turn that's going to get me from $30 cost per lead to $3 cost per lead? And it's not there. I mean, the ads game, you're playing for the long game, right? We all want quick solutions, but we're also none of us, or at least I hope that people aren't in business going, all right, I'm going to do business for 3 months and I'm going to make $30 million. Then I'm out. Like if that's your plan, I hate to break it to you, but it's not going to work. It's in the same way that our businesses were playing for the long game. We're also playing our ads for the long game and looking for quick little solutions. Even if you find them, that's not going to last for the long game either.
Yeah. And I think it's important to recognize too, like, when people say, this is one of my biggest pet peeves, okay? When people say you have to be doing video ads. Okay. Do videos work? Maybe. Do carousels work? Maybe. And now I'm going to sound like those experts that used to annoy me, right? Test it. But here's the thing about it is nothing works for everyone, right? You can't just like broad stroke everybody and put them all in the same bucket. Certain businesses do better with video because they have more experience on video. They're more interesting. They have we're on video right now, but I don't do a lot of video. I'm not comfortable on video. And that comes across in my video. People would be like, who is this awkward chick? It's just not going to perform well for me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to recommend that every client does video. You have to do you have to stick with what you are good at or comfortable with, or look at the data. If you do video and you do carousels and the carousels work better, then run with carousels. Dive into what is working well for you. You see a lot of brands out there that do have a specific style of ad or a specific style of posts, in Instagram or something. And that's probably because it's working. I hope they're not consistently doing that if it's not working, but I think it's working for them. So they're rolling with it, right? And when it stops working, they find something else and they roll with that. So we just can't make these broad strokes and be like, this works for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. It's just test it. But I do think that that's the big differentiation, right? Though, is that you're not just saying, just test it and figure it out. You have a system for testing and knowing which result is actually going to get, or which version is actually going to get the best result. So it's not, and maybe not to pull it full circle, but I think that maybe that's part of what makes ads so scary. Is it seems very opaque. It seems like, I don't know, I'm going to put in money, I don't know what's going to happen. And that doesn't have to be the way it is. When you know what you're doing, or whether you're working with someone who knows what they're doing, it's actually not, to a certain degree. Yeah. Like, okay, I wonder, I'm going to expect that we're going to get something along these lines, but it's not nearly as foggy as it can seem when you first get started. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Jackie, this has been fantastic. And I have a feeling actually it'll probably be the first of several conversations around ads, since it's such an important topic. Fundamentally, yes, everybody should be maximizing their organic game, right? To post on social, get on podcasts, do that but if you really want to be able to control the people that are coming into your orbit, there is no better way to do that than with ads. And if you ask me, when you have your other ad options, YouTube and podcast ads, there's no faster way to get started than with Facebook and Instagram ads. Yeah. So if someone,
absolutely agree.
Yeah. Oh, good. I'm glad. I like when people come on the podcast and agree with me. But if someone is interested in their hearing, oh my gosh, I love everything that she's saying. Where can people find out more about you?
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram. That's probably the best place. My handle is, I am Jackie Ellis, real original.
Yes, you are.
And in my bio, there should be a link there for a free training that we have about ads. And,
and we'll put that in the show notes as well. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, like I said, I will strong arm you to get you back on the podcast so that we can talk more about ads, since it's such an important topic. And it's fundamentally, if someone wants to get to that multi-6 figure, multi-7 figure a year income, the chances are you're really going to have to lean into ads. But I can say, as someone who went from the $10 a day and I don't want to look at it to, Jackie, we spend a lot of money every month. And I'm thrilled to do it every month because of the results that we get. So I'm very excited. Yeah. So thank you for being here in the first of our series of conversations.
Thank you so much for having me, Nicki.
I appreciate it. Much appreciated. So now you have Jackie's information. Go follow her because she's also giving out regularly good information. Oh, Jackie, what's the name of your podcast?
Oh, my podcast is called So Worth It. And Nicki is on my podcast. So make sure that you would check that out too.
Yes. Yeah. So follow her podcast. Jackie is, she is very giving with information and with tactics. So even if you're kind of just starting to tiptoe into the idea of Facebook ads, Jackie is absolutely someone you want to follow. So strong recommendation. Yeah. So now you guys have homework, dig in, start learning a little bit about ads, and we will catch you on the next episode. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Do you want to learn how to sell and scale your offer on autopilot every single day without the chaos of live launching or the low conversions of Evergreen? Who doesn't, right? Get our free on-demand video training at circuitsalessystem.com/free. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to make sure you never miss a video. We'll catch you next time.